What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So today we are going to talk about COLA, everything you need to know about COLA. So October 13th, we know that we'll be making an announcement. Social Security Administration will be coming out with a COLA for 2023. And I decided to do some research and give you guys this information when it comes to COLA. How did it get started? I also went back to 1975 when the automatic COLA started, and I'll show you a breakdown of all the different percentages over the years. And so that's what we're going to focus on in this video. But first off, I can ask you to do me a favor. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that little bell notification. And make sure you click all when you hit the bell notification. That way you'll get notified every time I put out videos. I do daily videos. So make sure you hit that bell notification. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so what I want to do first, we'll just switch over my screen here, and we're going to take a look at this illustration that I did. Now, I like doing these illustrations. You guys know me. If you watch my channel at all, you know I like to do the illustrations to kind of show you and talk as I highlight different things. And so we're going to go over a little bit of the history when it comes to COLA. Okay, this is very important because there are a lot of people that have misconceptions when it comes to COLA. They think COLA is a raise. It's not a raise. Okay, this is to offset inflation. We'll get into that. Okay, so Congress enacted the COLA provision as part of the 1972 Social Security amendments. Okay, so in 1972 they had amendments, and the automatic annual COLAs begin in 1975. Before that, benefits were increased only when Congress enacted special legislation. Okay, so think about that. Think about how that would be now. Okay, with all the divisiveness we have in Congress, think of if the only time that they were going to give these increases to offset inflation was an act of Congress, it would probably never happen. Back then, there were different times, okay? We weren't so divisive, so they could at least come together and say, okay, this is a common goal. You have both Democrats and Republicans receiving Social Security. Let's move forward with this COLA increase. But now I don't see it happening. So it's good that it's automatic. So in 1975, they made it automatic, and the Social Security Administration comes up with the calculation for COLA. Okay. So let's move a little forward here, because this is probably the most important thing that you're going to need to grasp today. The purpose of the COLA is to ensure that the purchasing power of Social Security and supplemental security income, SSI benefits, is not eroded by inflation. Okay, so we are looking at the purchasing power. That is the reason for COLA. They want to make sure that your dollar is not eroded by inflation. Okay, so that's why they use the CPIW in order to figure this out. The CPIW is not the best way to gauge what elderly people spend, but that's what they're using right now. Okay, let's go forward. It's based on the percentage of increase in the consumer price index for urban wage earners and clerical workers. Okay, now these are people who are working. They're actually using that barometer, which that's the reason why they need to use the CPIE, which is for the elderly. But that's being talked about in Congress, but they haven't moved forward with anything. But that's the situation that we're in right now. They're using the CPIW. Okay, and they use it from the third quarter. And we don't have to get into all of that. I've talked about this over and over again as far as the third quarter. We'll talk a little bit more about that here. But when it comes down to it, that's what they're using. And it's to make sure that your dollar is not being eroded by inflation. Okay, so let's kind of review this real quick. Purchasing power, that's the main reason for, or that is the reason for COLA. A CPIW, we talked about that. Now, the third quarter, these are the months, July, August, and September. So we're waiting on September numbers for the CPIW. And once we get those, then we'll be able to calculate, and the Social Security Administration will actually come out with the calculations for COLA. Okay. The change means that inflation no longer drains value from Social Security benefits. Okay. So if we didn't have COLA, we would be looking at a situation where you could be receiving, let's just throw a number out there, $2,000 a month. And if it wasn't adjusted for inflation and we didn't have COLA that was playing a role, then that money would just be eroded over time. You would be receiving $2,000, but it wouldn't be worth what it was worth 10 years prior. Okay, so that is the reason, the whole reason for COLA. So it's not a raise. Now, I've had some people ask me if the COLA is for SSI, SSDI, for veterans. Yes, it does cover all those different categories, as well as survivors. I've had people ask me about survivor benefits. So it does cover them as well. Okay. Now, I do realize there are a lot of people, a lot of new people that just over the last couple of years with all this stuff that's been going on, they just started taking retirement. And so they have those questions and they might not know, as far as this might be their first time receiving COLA. So they don't know how how it works and who qualifies and who doesn't. Okay. So let's move forward here. And I want to talk about this really briefly because I did a whole video on this. All right. And so I'll post a link. I'll post it up above. You'll see it up above here. And you can go to that video, and I did the calculations. Okay, so I did the actual calculations for COLA, and I did a projection for September because we don't have those numbers yet. I did a projection so you guys can find out what my prediction is when it comes to COLA, and I think it's pretty spot on. We'll find out. We'll find out next week. But this is just basically what they're looking at. Okay, so they're going to be looking at the CPIW for July, so that was 9.1. They're going to be looking at the CPIW for August. That was 8.7. And then we have to figure out what September is. Okay, now just looking at this, the way it's been kind of moving, and it's been moving down a little bit, I think that it's probably going to move down a little bit more, maybe 8.5%, 8.4% for the CPIW for September. Okay, now we're talking about the CPIW, not the CPI. Because on October 13th, you're going to hear the CPI. They will talk about that on the news, but they generally don't talk about the CPIW. Okay, that same day is when the Social Security Administration should be coming out and letting us know what COLA is for 2023. Okay, so they're going to take an average of that, and then on October 13th, that's when you'll get that information. Okay, now I want to talk about this. These are the automatic adjustments over the years from 1975 until now. Okay. And so you can see just by looking at this list, the first automatic adjustment was 8%. Okay. And then you move down here, 79, 80, 81. You see that percentage is really, really up there. Okay. So that was during the Carter/Reagan administration. And those were bad times. Okay, that was a struggle for a lot of people. I was very young at that time, but I still remember the struggle that my family was going to at that time. So, and everybody was going through it. It was a real bad time. But you see that COLA has been up there. This is not the first time that we're going to see COLA at 8.7. Close to 9%, maybe even 9%. We don't know. It's still a prediction. I'm just giving you my prediction of 8.7, but it could be higher than that. It could be lower than that. All right. So the good news, one thing that I wanted to mention, and this is actually the way the system works is good in a sense that you'll have years where it's zero, but you'll never have, like if we're looking at deflation, they'll zero it out so you're not getting an increase at all, but they won't take from the benefits. So if you get 8.7 for 2023, and then we see deflation, major deflation, and the inflation goes all the way down to 1% or 2%, they're not going to take anything from you the year after that. Okay, so 2024, they're not going to say, okay, well, you know what, there's been a decrease, so now we're going to take $5 from you, or we're going to take $10 a month from you. They're not going to do that. So the lowest it can go is zero. And so I think, I mean, although people want to see some type of an increase, if we are looking at numbers at zero, that means our economy is doing really well. That means that there's should be no inflation, right? So that's good if the economy is doing well. But when it comes down to it, they're not going to get to a point where they're actually taking from you, which is, I think, a good thing, because that system could have easily said, okay, yeah, you know, if it goes down, then we're going to go ahead and start taking money from people that are receiving Social Security. So that is pretty much the breakdown when it comes to Social Security and COLA. And I encourage you guys to subscribe and hit that little bell notification, because on October 13th, I'll come back. I'll give you guys that information. I might even do a live stream. I've been kind of thinking about this. So let me know in the comments if you want to see a live stream. It will be very, very early in the morning. The Bureau of Labor Statistics will put out this information. And I haven't decided if I'm going to do that or not. But let me know in the comments how you guys feel about that. But definitely on that day, I will be putting out that information when it comes to the cost of living for 2023. If you guys have any other questions, post them down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.